Now you can hopefully hear me. Exile Faye, hello, hello. How's it going? In and out because of work, but chapter labels, yay. Totally. Good luck with work. I hope it's going well. I feel like I adjusted this camera before I started and it always like sinks down, so it's cutting off my head somehow. How are you, Exiled Faye? How is work going? If you get a chance to answer. I hope the answer is good on both counts. I am not necessarily 100% today. This might be a little bit of a shorter stream, but I gotta get these chapter labels done so that I can format this paperback, hopefully this week. So we're gonna do it. It's not too terrible today. I've been watching true crime things. Nice. Any particular show? I have been working my way through Criminal Minds. I think I'm up to season 9. It's not like my most favoritist show or anything, but it entertains me, so I watch it. How's that for an endorsement of a show? It entertains me. Mendez and Menudo on Peacock while I still have my month subscription from Eurovision. Oh, interesting. I've not heard of that one. I also probably said it horribly wrong, so I apologize in advance. I was a kid in Puerto Rico when Menudo was still pretty big. Nice. Oh my gosh, I noticed that my friend Glow has a hashtag, like a tag that says, "Will pronounce your name wrong." I really should add that to my stream. Because I pronounce all the words I'm pretty good with as long as they're English, but anything that's a name or a country or another language I can't say. I'm gonna do it wrong. I'll try though. I always try. Alright, so this is the familiar for anyone who might be lurking who hasn't seen these streams before. This is the font that's not a font that all of my chapter labels for the Celestial Serenade are written in, and I have to by hand put these together so that they can look beautiful in my books. Also, while I'm thinking about it, for also for anyone who's lurking, about a month ago, you might remember that I did an international BookBub deal, where essentially my first book in the Eternity's Empire series was on sale for 99 cents. The first 2 books, actually. Only the first one was featured, but the first 2 books were on sale internationally in Canada, Australia, and the UK. Today, that same deal is running in the US. It is featured on BookBub, Eternity's Empire. If you hit that Eternity... Did I spell it right? If you hit that Eternity command at any point during the stream, or ever, today or ever... Why am I so weirdly awkward this morning? If you hit that Eternity command, it will take you straight to... It should take you straight to... the Light of Eternity, which you can grab if you are in the US for 99 cents today. I wasn't able to do the US deal before, so this feels like balancing the scales. The first one and the second one, so the Light of Eternity, the Soul of the Earth, are both 99 cents today. So check those out. They are also on Kindle Unlimited for anyone who is subscribed to the Kindle Unlimited service. You can read them all. The series is finished. It's 8 books total. They're all out. There's no waiting. You can get the whole story beginning to end. It is unfortunately just the digital books that are discounted. I can't really discount my own paperbacks. But keep an eye out because every now and then Amazon will just randomly put a few of them on sale. So if you're hoping to grab some of my paperbacks at some point in time, that is a thing which does happen. Today we are finishing up the Careless Electronica chapter labels, which does mean that I have to go into other mode for a a second, even though it's gonna look ugly because I need to open my outline and I don't want to flash spoilers. This shows you how organized I am today. Last time I accidentally started on the wrong book, maybe. That could have possibly been a thing that happened. So this time, I'm making sure that I start on the right one, maybe, possibly. So we got up to chapter 26 before. I think we did like 10 of them last time, or 9 of them. Yeah, we did 10 last time, and I think we have 8 left. So we have 8 of these puppies to make. Hopefully it'll be super chill, super easy. I've already pretty much established that I don't have a lot of words that from other labels that I can reuse, sadly, because I named all of the second trilogy's books in Italian because that seemed like a good idea at the time, as we discussed during the last label making stream. So we'll see how this goes. I'm gonna get a image open here. 1000 by 100. Conquest, hello, how's it going? Sounds like the right stuff? The stuff that I'm doing, or the stuff like the music that's playing? Apologies, because my brain isn't all here today. If you guys say something that should be like super obvious and I'm like, what are you talking about? It's me, 100%, and I'm sorry. Is that in? It sounded like there was a siren outside. Also, Ghost Pepper gets home today, which is... Does it sound like there's a phone ringing in this song? Am I losing my mind? Ghost Pepper gets home today, which is great. Because I don't sleep great when he's not home. I did sleep okay last night, thankfully. I managed to, I think, just hit that deep level of sleep, which is nice. But he's home today. I'm really looking forward to that. Because this was his last out-of-town trip for this year. There will be more next year, but I don't have to worry about them for 3 months. So... When I say next year, I mean school year. You guys might notice that me and Ghost measure time weirdly. That's because when you're a teacher, everything is measured in school years, or when you're married to a teacher, when there's a teacher in the house, you measure everything by school years rather than years. So when I say next year, I mean September. But actually this trip wasn't too bad. I haven't been keeping like my dinner schedule very well, but I did remember to eat, so there's that. I did get some sleep, especially last night. I think I slept pretty good, which was nice. But I'm just really looking forward to having him back in town. He has to pick up the car today. If anyone remembers, catch up on what happened after last stream, because if anyone remembers, I actually had to go AFK and call the car dealership on Monday's stream, but they had already closed. So I heard from them yesterday, and they found nothing wrong with the car. They were like, there's no code stored in the system from the computer. We road tested it and we didn't have any problems with it, so we changed your oil and it's good to go. And I'm like, great. Just randomly left us on the side of the road almost for a hot second. But everyone I've talked to is like, yeah, cars are like that sometimes. And the fact that it has always consistently started back up again. The power to the engine only died once, and then basically the equivalent of the check engine light came on. So the car dealership basically is like, monitor it and bring it back if it does it again. So it's like, cool. Hopefully it won't leave Ghost on the side of the road. But his commute back and forth to school is only about 10 or 15 minutes. And luckily, several of his coworkers live close to us. So if it does act up again, we can at least, that was like our farthest trip driving out to my birthday because we drove to a town over. So hopefully, fingers and toes crossed that it just needed an oil change and it'll be hunky-dory, but he gets to pick up the car today, and bring that home, and hopefully all that stuff is settled and I can just have a nice lazy second half of the week because I'm not gonna feel that great for the end of the week and I don't have to deal with anything. Alright, let's see. I will not tell you guys the names of the chapters in case anyone wants to play the guess what word she's spelling out slowly letter by letter game. We stopped on chapter 26, so we're on chapter 27. I recognize this song. I believe this is Stardew Valley song. My brain just emptied of what I need to do. There we go. I'm so sniffly. Hang on, let me take care of that so you guys don't have to keep hearing me sniffle. Sniffleophagus. And so on, over on G Chili's streams, over the weekends, he tends to do Jackbox games. And one of the games that we play with him pretty regularly is called Blather Round. So I don't know if any of you guys have ever played Blather Round, but it's basically almost like word charades. So the idea is that you get a prompt that you have to get the people who are playing with you to guess. And they can type anything into the guess box. So, you know, it's pretty wide open. It gives them a category, so it's either like a person, a thing, a story, something like that. And then you have to basically use the words that it gives you, because it gives you like a selection of words, and you have to basically like chop together a description of your prompts to try to get people to guess it. And then eventually it like lets you use other people's guesses, so you can say like it's similar to this or it's nothing like whatever. And when we were playing that this past weekend, one of the prompts it gave me to choose from was Mr. Snuffleupagus, who was my favorite character on Sesame Street when I was a kid. Also, who I felt was very underutilized when I was a kid because he was like almost never in the show and he was my favorite. But I was like, oh, Mr. Snuffleupagus. I have no idea how I will word salad describe this in a way that anyone will guess. So I didn't choose that one as my prompt. Because I was like, how will I describe this in a way that people will be able to... Especially because I feel like when I was younger, he was one of the more obscure Sesame Street characters. Maybe not so much now. I don't know. I'm hip to how Sesame Street is now, I'll be honest. But I did get the prompt Hot Topic, and from the words it gave me, I cobbled together it was something like fabulous dark apparel place, and Joe got it like instantly, so I was pleased. Oh yeah, there are two T's in this word. Heck yeah. Whoops. My mouse is starting to do this thing, this really frustrating thing where it's fine when I like single and double click, but if I click and drag, it like gets interrupted. And I'm not sure. It's only when I click and drag, so I don't know if part of the sensor has gone bad. Or if I'm just not putting enough pressure on it. I don't want to like jam my fingers super hard on there. But it's starting to become a problem. But I don't want to replace my mouse. This one's tiny and so nice for my hand. All my Sesame lore is confused. I remember vaguely watching the US version dubbed and then also the Mexican version with Abelardo. Is it Abelardo? Is that how I would say that? Instead of Big Bird? I don't remember much Sesame Street lore, honestly, because I only watched it when I was very, very young. So, like, I remember the books better because I had a book called The Monster. There's a monster at the end of this book, which I think is still a thing. It was a book with Grover. And you're just like, it starts out, you're just having a chill conversation with Grover, and he's like, wait a minute. This book is called There's a Monster at the end of this book, which means there's a scary monster at the end of this book. And then he freaks out because he's like, there's a monster, it's gonna get us, it's gonna be super scary. And you go through all of these things with Grover where he's trying to like prevent the monster from getting the both of you. And then at the end of the book, spoilers, it turns out that the monster was Grover all along. Rune Wolf, hello, hello. Thank you so much for the lurk. I hope you're doing well. Abelardo is Big Bird's cousin from Mexico. Interesting. Or was Abelardo just Big Bird's Spanish name? I don't know. I've never heard of him before. I like the idea that Big Bird has a cousin in Mexico. That sounds cool. He was a green parrot. Oh, that's so cool. Hang on, I gotta Google. I'm so easily distractible. Aw, look, he's so cute. Hang on. Open in new tab. Look at this boy. Look how cute. That's so cool. I've not heard of him before. I learned something today. Also, apparently, there's Legends of the Multiverse wiki. Wait, what? Abelero Montoya appears in Plaza Sesamio, the Mexican co-production of Sesame Street. Joined the cast in 1981 and became the show's most recognizable figure. I don't know what wiki this is, but okay. Okay, cool. Oh, there's a Muppet wiki fandom too. Oh, he guest starred on the American Sesame Street in 1997 as part of the Cinco de Mayo celebration. Oh, he met his cousin Big Bird for the first time after looking for him all over the neighborhood with Telly. Oh, Oscar picked him up at the airport and taught him the English word scram. Of course he did. That's so cool. Oh, look, there's a picture of them together. What? Look at this. This is so precious. Oh, well, thank you for introducing me to him. I don't know anything about Sesame Street. I remember Big Bird, Snuffleupagus, Oscar, of course, because I loved Oscar when I was a kid. Grover, Elmo, and Bert and Ernie, and Cookie Monster, and that's it. I think I said Cookie Monster twice. And that's, like, the extent of... I don't know, like, any of their life stories or anything. I just know that they exist. And I know that there was like some weird ass controversy about Bert and Ernie being gay lovers when I was younger, but when I was a kid, I was under the impression they were brothers, so I was always very confused by that. Like when I was like 7, I was like, but they're brothers, so I don't understand. And that's the extent of what I know about Sesame Street. But man, I loved Snuffleupagus when I was a kid. Adults always overthink things while kids are like, I know, right? Like, whenever someone is like, I don't understand how I'm supposed to explain same-sex marriage to my kids. It's really easy, guys. Those 2 guys are married. Those 2 girls are married. Your kid's gonna say, okay, fine, and walk away. Because they literally do not think about it any deeper than that. Bert and Ernie are just Bert and Ernie, and whatever, they're funny. Exactly. Like, that's how I've always... I mean, as an adult, I can totally see them as gay lovers, just putting it out there. But when I was a kid, I was very confused because I was like, I don't really understand the concept of incest, but I've been introduced to the concept that being a lover to your brother is bad. And so I was always very confused by why people were talking about Bert and Ernie as if they were boyfriends instead of brothers. Because I was like, you can't... I know one thing, and that's you can't be a boyfriend with your brother. But, you know, of course I have a more nuanced understanding of the whole conversation being grown up now. But literally back when I was still on Tumblr, I read this story by someone who had taken their kid to the grocery store, and they were just chatting with their cashier, and the cashier like mentioned her girlfriend in front of this young kid, and the mother was like, my child's response was, wait, you can, like, the kid's response was like, wait, I can marry a girl or a boy? And the mom was like, yeah. And the kid was like, that's cool. And that was the extent of the conversation. Like, it's literally that easy to explain relationships to your child because they aren't, it's literally not more complicated than that. I can kiss a girl or a boy? Yes, you can. Okay, cool. So in trying to protect you from gayness, they introduced you to the concept of incest. Like, yeah. Like, my whole confusion over the whole conversation about Bert and Ernie being gay was like, but you can't be in love with your brother. I don't think that they necessarily introduced me to the concept of, like, incest. But, like, when I was young, trying to remember back that far is hard because it's hazy. But when I was young, like, there's this general sense of you love your siblings and your cousins, but not in the same way that mommies and daddies love each other. So, like, you know that there's a difference between being a mommy and a daddy and being a brother and a sister. But then Bert and Ernie were brothers, and everybody talked about them as though they were lovers. And I was like, but they can't be because they're brothers. And to me, that was way more confusing than the idea that 2 guys could be in love with each other. So there definitely was, like, to me, an introduction of confusion over the idea of people confusing their relationship. Like, if somebody had just told me Bert and Ernie aren't brothers, they're gay, I would have been like, okay, cool. But there was this whole, like, the show is telling me that they're brothers, and the people around me are telling me that they're something else, and it doesn't compute in my little child brain how they could be both those things. And I guess as a kid, it never occurred to me that the show would be lying to me. Kids understand marriage separate from sex, so many kids go through that I want to marry mom, dad phase when they're very little because they don't know about sex, they just know about love and family. Right. So explaining gay marriage to kids should be like the single easiest thing you would ever need to explain. I know, I don't I don't understand why people are like, but how am I gonna make my kid understand that two guys can kiss? I don't know, hold up a Ken and a Ken doll and bonk their heads together? Like, I don't think it's as complicated as people think it is. Adults really do. I think that what happens is that we lose that simplicity. We lose the ability to, man, this has gotten into a deep conversation already. We lose that ability to kind of remember what, like the simple and innocent way that we thought of things as a kid. Like even me talking about, the whole Bert and Ernie thing, like, it's hard for me now to say exactly like what it was that I was thinking about at the time, because I obviously think about it a lot differently now and have a lot different opinion now on the whole conversation because I understand why that conversation existed. But I don't think a lot of people really take the time to think, oh, like when I was younger, I had a whole different perspective on the world. They're taking an adult's perspective and saying, how do I dumb that down for kids? I mean, for kids, it's simple. They don't know anything about the world yet. They don't have any, like you're saying, they don't have any preconceived notions. It's like there's an episode of Everybody Loves Raymond where one of the kids asked, why are we here? And the adults were downstairs for the whole episode freaking out, like, how are we gonna explain the purpose of life to this kid? And they're like, let's look in the Bible. And they're like, we ain't gonna find the answer in the Bible. And they went through this whole thing where they were like freaking out about how they were gonna explain this to the kid. And then they gave her like a really simple answer at the end of the episode. And she's like, okay, I'm gonna go back to playing with my brothers now. And it's like, that to me has always summed up like the way that we like massively overthink talking to kids. Because I think too, kids absorb so much information just from like their surroundings as well, that like sooner or later it's gonna make sense to them. Peter, hello. We lose an openness of mind to accept new things without preconception. We do. And I mean, I guess experience, in some ways, that makes experience a double-edged sword, because it gives you perspective on things, but it also prevents you from not having a perspective, if that makes sense. It is Wednesday, my dudes. And we're getting into that heavy conversation right away here. We just are not holding back. Are we talking about children? Love children, but can never eat a whole one. We started out by talking about Sesame Street, and then we just went down a whole road. But here we are. Ghost Pepper's getting home today. It's Wednesday. I killed 2 spiders in the last 24 hours. So I'm feeling like a badass. Need to get moved just a twitch in that direction. Oh, this is gonna be a real pain in the ass if my mouse keeps doing that jumpy thing. Has it been a long road getting from there to here? It shouldn't have been. Stream hasn't been going that long, but it does kind of feel that way. I can't remember what it was now, but I was editing my book yesterday, and there was a part that reminded me so much about song lyrics that I almost took a screenshot and crossed out a part of what I had written to put in the song lyrics. I can't remember what it was though, and I don't know if I'd be able to find it if I looked for it. Hang on. If I'm gonna open this file, I have to do it in the small, so I apologize. There's no clicky clack cam today. There was something I was looking at yesterday where I was like, this is like reminding me hardcore of song lyrics. But I didn't actually take the screenshot. Oh yeah, everything is gonna be... Oh, I remember now. Okay, this is my brain. This is how my brain works. There's a part that says, Damarin pressed his mind deep into the earth, past the inky black wrongness, down into the gentle pull that waited in the depths. And where my brain went was, Damarin pressed his mind deep into the earth, past the rock that looks like a long neck, and past the mountain that burns. There's a reference for y'all. That's where my brain was going yesterday. I almost took a screenshot and blacked it out and put that in because I was like... Because as soon as I read it, I was like, past the rock, that looks like a long neck. I don't know why all this childhood nostalgia is happening today, but this is apparently where we landed. You son of a bee. I'm not even done with the first one of these yet. This is what's happening today. Hey, you never know. Maybe your husband will just be okay with inviting Peter into the relationship. You never know. It can happen. That's an him problem, not an us problem. Oh, it's another N. Fuck. The sun is popping. It's been so hot the last few days. The high was 22, but in Glasgow it was 24. It's been consistently 27, 28 here. But we get that dry heat, not the kind of like wet, soggy heat y'all get in England. Those are death degrees. Air conditioning. It gets hotter than that. It can get into the 30s here. It even hit 40 one year. It was not good. But air conditioning, pretty much. Non-stop air conditioning. That, to me, the thing about England was not so much that it was ultra hot there, but that, like, you guys aren't really equipped to deal with the heat. All the buildings are very old. And some of them have been sort of like retrofitted with air conditioning, but most places just don't have air conditioning. So like, yeah, here I can leave the windows open until it's like 25 outside, and not die because the house will stay decently cool with the auto fan on. But as soon as it hits that like cusp of 25, 26, that's air conditioner weather. That's when, as soon as it hits 25 in the house, instead of outside the house, the windows get closed, the AC goes on, and we keep it at 23, 24 inside. If it's like 26 degrees outside and you have no way of cooling your house down, it's miserable. And that's how it was when we were in England. There was no way to cool anything down. And it gets hot enough inside that when the temperature dips overnight, it's still 20 inside the next morning. And you feel like you're drowning in the humidity. I'm blonde and delicate. I'm generally delicate and miserable. We never get heat like that often, so we're not used to it. And you have zero built-in air conditioning, yeah. I did notice that there are some streamers that I follow in the UK who do have like air-conditioned offices and stuff because they have newer buildings. But yeah, like I definitely think England is not really built for hot weather. And it was funny when we lived in England because during the summer, everyone was like, oh, it's so hot and miserable. And then as soon as it started to cool down, everyone was like, oh, summer is ending and the sunny weather is going away. And I was like, but when it was sunny, you hated it. And now that it's not sunny, you also hate it. And that was my first introduction to the culture of England. We open the windows for maybe a day or two each spring or fall. The rest of the time we run the thermostat, but we try to have it at reasonable temps. Yeah, I mean, we had to go almost straight into the AC this year because there just wasn't a cool period. Now it did cool down and we did turn the AC off and open the windows up again, but like, you gotta go with like what the temperature is, and global climate change means bigger swing in the weather, so you go straight from the cold to the hot, it seems now. Being in England may have also been a reason for being miserable. I get depressed whenever I go there. There's certainly a culture there, for sure. Every year in summer, I'm like, I would kill for winter, and then when winter comes, I'm like, please let summer come. I know this feeling. Hello, Banshee. Hello. I can, in fact, confirm as a Brit that if we didn't complain, we would go bust. I got used to it pretty quickly, but I did have a minute where I was like, wait a minute, I thought you guys liked summer, or I thought you guys hated summer, because everyone was like, oh, the winter is coming and the summer is going away. And I was like, but you hate summer, what? If Brits didn't complain, they would spontaneously combust. I believe it. But then, like I was saying the other day with the whole small talk conversation, there's a refreshingness sometimes in a Brit's willingness to be honest, right? Because if a Brit says, yeah, I'm having a great day, first of all, I know there would be an eclipse instantly, but also you would know that it was true. Like, they would be having the greatest day. Because if they're having a bad day, they'll be like, yeah, today has sucked. Because they'll just be honest about it. And I appreciate the honesty as opposed to the, yeah, everything's fine, when really it's on fire. We did one! We finished one! It was a long one. We love summer, we just hate the heat. Fair. Fair. I'm the same. I like the sun. I don't like the heat. I actually want hoodie weather year-round, so... I love being warm, but I hate being hot. Same. I feel like Brits are too restrained. If you want honesty, talk to an Australian. Interesting. The English will be like, actually, it's not been a bad day today, isn't it? I'm not able to read that, Peter. Australians will be like, it was fucking shit housemate, I hate it, and I hate to barbecue Bonza house to buy. Oh, Peter. I don't know what I would do without you to make me laugh. Oh my goodness. Yeah, when I think about when I was younger and I would go out in 94, 102 degree weather, Fahrenheit here, because I grew up in Pennsylvania, and just bike everywhere in 102 degree weather. When I think about that now, I'm like, how did I not die? How did I not just drop over dead on the side of the road? Because that's, to me, like, back then that was hot, but I handled it. Now I'm like, I'm gonna die. That's too hot. I'm just not gonna make it. Maybe we also lose, maybe in addition to losing our, you know, our childish wonder and innocence, we also lose some of our endurance. Cause yeah, I definitely remember when I was a kid, like straight up, just biking all over the place in the summer. My mom did keep it like freezing cold in the house, so I could, our AC was always blasting in the summer, so I could actually go work up a sweat on my bike and then just walk in the house and freeze like almost instantly. So maybe that was also a factor. There was like no, I knew when I got home there was going to be no cool down period because I lived in a freezer. The Scots are somewhere in the middle, like fucking pure rotten Powell. What does muntered mean? Nessie, you bastard. Marathon, hey, how's it going? How's your day been? We lose a lot of our elasticity as adults. That's a good way of putting it. We'd fall off trees and bounce. Now, if I step down from a curb wrong, it echoes up my spine. I feel that. As someone who hurt their back last week by just bending over, I feel that. I feel that in my bones. Also, Halo Banshee, I don't know if I asked how you're doing. How are you doing? What is up, friend? Alright, now I know we can get an and from somewhere. Surely we can get an and from somewhere. Surely I have done a... surely there's been an and in one of these. And there hasn't. Cool! Great, excited. There have been some ands though, so let's grab that. What did I do? My mouse is really bugging me here. Need a tiny D. Whoops. What? Who's driving this mouse today? I think it's just a little too big. Boy, this is a pain in the ass. And that's just gonna have to be... It's gonna be as close as we're gonna get it. That looks pretty good, though. Oh my goodness. That was a struggle, you guys. Doing all right. Glad to hear it, Halo Banshee. My hair is pure muntered, or I was muntered at the week. What? It can mean ugly or unattractive. I'm learning so much today, apparently. Have to say, not a word that I heard when I was in Scotland. Maybe you don't say it to foreigners. Man, though, it was funny when we were in the UK and people would think we were Americans and we would say, no, we're Canadian, and they, oh, so sorry, my friend. Didn't mean to insult you. Because they love the Canadians over there. I just want to take this time as this O is slowly moving to the other side of the screen to thank you guys for coming to what is probably my most exciting stream. I feel like slowly pasting these letters one at a time onto the screen and moving them into position has to be riveting content. So thank you for choosing me for your entertainment needs today. That's not sarcasm, the last part. The last part's not sarcasm. I do appreciate that you guys are here sharing this experience with me, because I know you could be doing literally anything else right now. So, thank you. We quite like Canadians. Canada and Scotland have legit special relationship. The relationship between America and Scotland really soured with that one election in the year 2000 and that one guy and the whole thing. Yeah. Gee, I can't imagine who you mean. No, I know exactly what you mean. I may not remember exactly the thing that you're referring to, but I definitely know the guy. I think too, just having like traveled a little bit and having heard like people's stories from having been in places, my experience is that American travelers have a kind of specific reputation for not being very understanding or generous. They tend to be, this is a generalization obviously, so this is not like calling out my American friends. I know everyone in this chat is a kind and generous individual, and I imagine when you guys travel, you're very friendly and understanding and kind. But my understanding is that a lot of American travelers aren't like that, and they can be very demanding and not very forgiving or generous. And so the main reason why places like to have Canadian guests better is because Canadians have a reputation for being kind and polite and apologizing for everything because it's practically the law. So yeah, something to like just keep in mind if you're traveling abroad is like, people be human everywhere you go, and you know, lots of those people are just people doing their thing, and if something goes wrong, it's not necessarily within their control. And so just be understanding, just be patient and be forgiving, and it'll open a lot of doors. There are two conceptions of what being a guest means. To me, being a guest in another country means I need to respect the place I'm in because I don't belong to it. Others tend to think guest means you all must cater to me. That's a very good way of putting it, Exiled Faye. 100%. And I'm the same. If I, like, when we went to Scotland, we stayed at a small bed and breakfast, and it was just run by a couple. Like, it was just a big old house, and it was run by a couple, and they cooked breakfast for everybody in the morning. And they did the full English breakfast with haggis, which was our first time having haggis. And they were lovely people, like very, you know, very kind, very earnest, but they were just a couple. Like, these weren't like fancy business people. They weren't running a huge kitchen. I don't know, I can't talk today. It was just two people running out of their, you know, big old house, this bed and breakfast. And I can't imagine going in there and just being like, you know, demanding more out of them than what they were already giving to us. Like, if you want to go stay in a fancy 5-star hotel and make demands, and if you're paying like out the nose for something and you think that makes you entitled to act that way, I guess I still don't think that you're entitled to act that way. But there's maybe a reputation in that place versus just hanging out at someone's, you know, bed and breakfast. And so I think it's definitely important to keep in mind that like the people that you meet on the road they don't exist solely to serve you. They're just people doing their thing, and you'll get more out of the experience. Because if you're friendly and kind, people will help you. They'll tell you where the best places to go are. They'll let you in on all the local secrets, and if you're a total dick, people will just be like, all right, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Like, not calling out all Americans, but I have witnessed Americans, particularly during busy tourist times, like the Edinburgh Fridge or whatnot, and there are those who are lovely, but then you get those who want what they want when they want it, no matter what. Yeah, and I guess probably, like, there are Canadians who are like that too. Don't get me wrong, I have met some rude Canadians, they do exist. And I'm sure every country is the same, right? Everyone has their bad apples. So it's a shame that Americans have that reputation, because I know some really great Americans who are great travelers and who don't act that way either. I just totally forgot how to spell the word I'm spelling. There we go. Yeah, just I think it's a good thing for anyone from anywhere to keep in mind, is that if you are friendly to the people who are local to the place you're visiting, it just gets you a lot further. Like, I can't count the number of times that, like, all we've done is be polite at a place. And then the people who run it are like, oh, you guys are such gems. Here's this really nice place that's like a local secret. Go check it out. We don't tell people about it, but it's really cool. Sometimes that's all it takes, is they're like, you seem nice. Here's a secret that the tourists don't know. Go have fun, right? But then you got to consider, you know, if they deal with hundreds of people all year, like, how many of those people are dicks? When I was in the US, I must admit, I kind of sort of got perturbed once or twice, but May I tell my Am I the Asshole story and be judged? I mean, that is totally up to you, Peter. If you would like to spill the tea and get feedback, that is most certainly a thing that can happen. Know that I will love you, even if you've occasionally been an asshole. That's the other thing, like, I get people have bad days. I get that people sometimes legitimately do things that they don't necessarily feel good about afterwards. I think, too, you can tell the difference between someone who's really snooty and goes around acting really snooty and someone who's just having a bad moment. Because I've certainly had bad moments, too. Or a crumble? Ooh, that sounds like a good... That sounds like a pie. Or a crabble. Whoop, hello. Hello. I love that you just randomly pop in to try and guess these, words. Delta Flareon, hello. How's it going? Did you ever get little Evie to sleep last night, and were you able to also get a good night of sleep? Because I remember I kind of quietly slipped out of Joe's stream last night to go pass out, but I do remember that you were saying you were having a heck of a time getting little Evie to bed. Or a Clapton? I was in Missouri, and I don't know why this thing happens. It literally just happened there. Okay. Pronounce oracles like Heracles' challenge. Did, but you're tired. Well, I'm glad you got some sleep. I'm sorry that it was so rough last night. Hopefully tonight will be easier. Went to bed at 3 a.m., woke up at 6, and was off and on until about 10. Oh, that's rough. If you can, like, this is not, like, scientifically proved, but my whole thing, my experience is that generally if you can get, like, 4 or 5 really good hours of sleep, like deep, unbroken sleep, it doesn't necessarily matter what time of day it happens, that'll get you through. But if it's like broken up and stuff, and you're restless, that's rough, because then you don't get like the quality sleep. So I hope you're able to get some good rest today, Delta. I don't know why I always say the first half of your name instead of the second half of your name like everybody else, but that's where my brain goes, so I apologize if you prefer Flareon. I'll try to remember to call you Flareon. I wake up too much, it's always broken. You do get used to it though, because that used to be how, when I didn't sleep with earplugs, that was how it was for me. And you get used to it. I need an apostrophe. It's always a challenge. Here's the story. When you go anywhere in the world and you hand someone something, I say thank you and you reply with what? Not a trick question, just I say thank you and you say you're welcome, or it's no problem, or something along those lines. I'm assuming that's not the response that you got, question mark? Now I have to find a apostrophe because there's not technically one in this font. There's a few. Had to steal an apostrophe from another font. Yeah, it looks like a ooh, moved the wrong thing. That looks like a possessive, eh? Scooch that S down, just, there we go. Actually... No, you're welcome. No pleasantry. Just, wow. If someone in Missouri hands you something and you say thank you, they reply, okay. Is it like a friendly, is it like, or is it just like, That's what I think too, Flareon. Neotopia, the utopia for Neopets. I have no idea why the person who made this named it that, but that's where my brain always goes to. I feel justified. Yeah, it might rest in the tone. It wasn't an isolated incident. Everywhere I went in the state, I was like, thank you, and they'd say, It drove me nuts because for so many years of my life I had manners slapped into me. Yeah. So I started being like, or you're welcome, or saying something snarky. It was like, our business is concluded, fuck off. I think it would come down to the tone. If someone said, and if everybody did it and it was always in a friendly tone, then my conclusion would be that it was a regional thing. If the tone was really, like, snooty or just dismissive or whatever, then I would consider it rude, for sure. Despite fighting Evie for bed, I at least got a good push on a commission piece. Nice! Well, I'm glad to hear that. I'm doing okay. I'm feeling slightly under the weather today, not gonna lie. I've got some health stuff that's gonna be coming up the end of the week, so just sort of hanging in there. But Ghost Pepper's coming home today from camp, which I'm really excited about. And I'm just sort of trying to chill. I kind of planned, because I knew I had some health stuff coming up, I kind of planned the second half of this week to be really easy for me to get through. So hopefully, I did all my really heavy brain work yesterday. I paid for it a little bit, but hopefully today will just be super chill, easy to get through everything, and then I can, rest when I need to. That's why we're only doing 2 streams this week, is because I'm probably gonna need to rest either tomorrow or Friday, so. I honestly don't think it was very dismissive. Even people at stores and things were like, and it drove me nuts. Interesting. No, I definitely think that would have driven me nuts too. Actually, I'm gonna take all of these down slightly so that they're more in line with what I think. Thank you for the hydrate, Peter. I am feeling okay. I wouldn't say I'm feeling great. I'm feeling okay. If I was feeling really gross, I wouldn't have streamed. I did feel a little cruddy when I woke up, but I felt better after breakfast, which is why stream was a little bit late. I was on the fence, but I decided to go for it. If anyone's wondering, what is she talking about? How does she know a health thing is coming? It's lady stuff. I don't like to go too deeply into it on stream because I know some people get a little maybe squicked out by that. But I get very bad back cramps. It happens once a month. I'm quite used to it. I plan around it. I'm not gonna say it's easy for me, but it's normal for me. So I just kind of go along and get along. But if you guys wonder why there's always a week where I either don't stream or I have fewer streams or where I seem a little bit more out of it than usual, that's why. It's just because, you know, my body acts a certain way at a certain time. And I just, when it happens, I promise you, I spend the whole day on the couch. I watch Criminal Minds mindlessly on the couch. I make sure that I regularly eat and regularly hydrate, and I take naps, and I just do whatever my body needs to get through it. So I'm heading in that direction. There's a little bit of definitely being able to tell that I'm going to be struck down by the cruddy crummies in a day or two. But it's not a big deal. Like, it's nothing to worry about. I'm totally fine, and I'll be totally fine in a few days. But I'm definitely not like 100%. I'm not gonna like go bounce around and run a marathon today or anything. But you know, I'm managing fine. I always feel a sense of righteous anger when anyone complains of period stuff, like how dare evolution fail so hard. I could say so many things about the uterus in general and the results of having one. There is no run a marathon redeem, Peter. So sad. Nice try though. But yeah, it's I don't tend to talk about it too much because I know like it can be very TMI for some people, but as an owner of a uterus, there are certain things that I deal with on a monthly basis. Very open about it. And I just want you guys to know that it's not fun, but I will be okay. You guys don't have to like worry about me or anything. Ooh, this is a nice song. I like that riff. Basically, hey, it was a nice shot, Peter. But yeah, I basically just, I take a what I call a potato day. So if you see me referring to potato days in the Discord, you know what's happening. That's me taking care of myself. Taking the painkillers and just sitting on the couch and not using my brain and just doing whatever my body needs to get by. Luckily, the really bad stuff usually only lasts for about 24 hours and then I start to bounce back. So I usually set aside a day and a half in my schedule to just deal with it, just to let whatever happen. And that way I don't feel guilty about taking the time off either. Like, it's built into my schedule that there will be 1 week every month where I do a day less of work. And that's this week. And I planned my schedule around having easy stuff to do and getting all of the brain heavy stuff out of the way ahead of time so that when I'm, not really able to get off the couch, I don't feel guilty about it. I'm just chilling. I'm just doing my thing. I do a lot of, you guys don't know this because I stealth do it. I do a lot of stream lurking on my potato days. I just kind of park myself in a Twitch, and I don't really say much because I don't feel social, but it's nice having you guys all on in the background and knowing that people are around and that if I really want to talk to someone, people are there. But I just sort of have it sort of on the periphery on the side while I'm just kind of, my brain is just kind of doing whatever. I will kick Mother Nature in the balls for you. I appreciate that, actually. We can talk about Krondor, Conqueror of Potatoes. Did he slay the mighty wild potatoes and create potato salad from thin air? Is that who Krondor is? Welcome, Flanny. How are you? We are going to take a quick break here in a minute because we haven't had a break since we started stream and I got to use the restroom. But, he gave potato salad onto the people, and that's why he's my hero. Inventor of potato. I wonder who actually did invent potato salad now. Never thought of it before. Maybe I'm in the minority. And I hate to stereotype here, and I also don't wish to mansplain. I really don't mind or have problems with hearing about things like I grew up in a house with women. Yeah, and I appreciate that, Peter. Ghost Pepper's very much the same. And as a teacher of young people, Ghost Pepper has taken aside some of his students and just been like, yo, you need to learn to deal with the fact that periods happen because you're gonna have a girlfriend someday, presumably. To me, again, I'm very open about it because it's a thing that happens and it happens in my life and I deal with it. I'm not gonna go into like all the gory details on stream or whatever, but it's painful for me. I have a not fun time when it hits, and I've learned to deal with it, but it still sucks. So I'm not going to be like the miracle of life. I'm like, yeah, uteruses suck, and if I could give mine the finger, I totally would. Speaking openly about it makes it less of a five-headed dragon. I agree. So like I said, I'm not going to do the here's my top 10 horrific bloody stories from that time of the month. But when people are like, oh, why are you not feeling well? I'm honest, and I'm like, my uterus is throwing a tantrum, and it sucks. But it happens every month, so here we are. There are potato salad. There are potato salad? There are potato salad in the fridge. That's gonna get clipped, and it's gonna get blurped, and everyone's gonna play it everywhere, and There are potato salad in the fridge, yes. I do currently possess potato salad. I might not eat potato salad today because I have some really yummy leftovers from Monday of curry that I ordered. But I do have potato salad. I did have potato salad for lunch the last 2 days. Potato salad has been consumed. Potato salad is available. Google be like, potato salad is widely believed to have originated in Germany. Ooh. American potato salad most likely originated from recipes brought to the U.S. by way of German and other European immigrants. Interesting. It is an outrage and proof that there is no God worth worshipping. I gotta say, Exiled Faye, I do often feel that way when my uterus is throwing a tantrum, so I'm glad to know I'm not the only one whose brain goes there. There are potato salad in the fridge. In high school, I genuinely had no idea how periods worked. It wasn't until I was in my first serious relationship with my then girlfriend, and she was like, "It's my time," and I was like, "Can you not put it off for a few days?" And she was like, "Oh, honey, sit down." I do think that at least when we were in school, they did a bad job of explaining. They did a good job of explaining to girls how periods worked, but they didn't do a good job of explaining to boys how periods worked. So I do think it's important. I think they're getting better about it now, but it is important. All my potato salad belonged to me. Sorry, I ain't sharing that shit. But nice meme. It's old, but it checks out. No setting me up the bomb, please. Thank you. But yeah, I do think they're doing a better job now. Period in potato salad, the Megan Cutler story. Yeah, it'll be my memoir. I do think they're doing a better job now of explaining to boys how that stuff works. I see that we have some hydrates from Pi. Pi, hello, how are you? We are actually going to take a quick break because I need to use the restroom, and I'm going to use those hydrates on fresh, hot coffee when I get back. Period potato salad sounds like something you find at a Ren fair. It does. What would I title my memoir? Everyone thinks I'm organized, but actually I'm a train wreck, the Megan Cutler story. That would be my memoir. I will be right back. Pi, I'm so glad you're here. I'm glad to hear you're doing Pi. And we will have those hydrates in just a few moments. I am back. We have got hot coffee. We are gonna hydrate for Pie's Hydrates. Ooh, marinating some tofu. Thank you. And thank you for those hydrates, Pie. I'm gonna do a bonus one since you waited so long. Heck yeah. What did I miss? In a post-American Pie movie world that has a completely different connotation. I've never even seen the movie, and I know the This One Time at Band Camp reference. I too am curious what the tofu is being marinated in. Maybe Exiled Fae will tell us when we get back. Heck yeah, heck yeah. All right. I gotta get motoring on these labels. We still got several. Is this not a thing? Is this really not a word that I've used before? Totally isn't. Okay, cool. Ooh, vegetable soup. Was it homemade, Flareon? Because if so, I might ask for the recipe. I love me some soup. I love to throw soup in my crock pot and just let it cook for a good 6-8 hours and then devour it. It's one of my favorite things to... I've said this many times before, but I love eating and hate cooking, so anything that I can throw in my crock pot and eat just 6 to 8 hours later, top notch. Just veggies, no meat? Nice! Nice. I have a cauliflower soup. I haven't made it much recently, but I have a cauliflower soup recipe that I really like, which is similar. It's basically just a bunch of veggies that you boil in the crock pot for like 6 hours and then you blend it at the end. Super good. I think I made it for Cauliflumps and Vinyl when they came to visit. What? Why are you done with your crock pot? What did the crock pot ever do to you? I wouldn't survive without my crock pot, man. Gotta think about ideas for dinner, trying to make it super simple, but all I can think of is carbs, which I try to stay away from since Grandma is diabetic. Oh no! If you had soup yesterday, that's really the easiest one. Where am I in this word? Ooh. Is that a text from Ghost Pepper? Sorry, now I'm texting my husband. This is car related. Those were not the symbols that I was looking for. He basically just asked me to call the dealership again and confirm pickup, but I already did that yesterday, so I'm like, I don't think I need to call again. Yeah, I've done 3 letters in the whole stream, Conquest. Oh, I like this song, but it's gonna be annoying to talk over, so we're not gonna listen to it. Udon noodles with tofu, broccoli, and whatever else I can find. Ooh, that sounds delicious. I figured it would help balance out our carb days. I try to respect grandma's diabetic needs and encourage non-carb meals. That's really good of you. If somebody has special dietary needs, being aware and helpful about it is really appreciated. As someone who's lactose intolerant, I appreciate that when I visit people. Or when they're hanging out with me. I mean, at restaurants, it's not so much a big deal because you can order whatever and it's not like I'm anaphylactic. But if I'm like eating at your house, I appreciate when people are like aware of my restrictions. I made a soup pasta thing last week. It was on for 10.5 hours on high, and at the end of the time, the veggies were still crunchy. Maybe your crock pot is having a struggle. What temperature? Do you have like a high setting or a low setting? Ghost Pepper's like, I just want to confirm the time that I can pick up the car, and it's like, sweetie, I confirmed the hell out of that last night. He just doesn't want to get dropped at the dealership with all his bags and not be able to grab the car. Tomorrow I'll run to the farmer's market down the road and see what they have and plan accordingly. Oh, nice! I don't like crunchy veggies in soup, so crockpot has not met my needs. Oh, no! I do like crunchy veg a little bit in my soup, so, but I see what you mean. There's going to be a Dune MMO. Yes. I know they were working on a tabletop game at one point, but I don't know if it ever got off the ground. I called dibs on the Tantric Sex Nuns class. It has a low, high, and a warm. Which setting did you have it on? Did you have, because if you do something for like 6 or 3 hours on high should be like 6 hours on low, or 4 hours on high would be 8 hours on low. It does make a difference. I try to be mindful of other people's needs. I'm glad, Flareon. I try to do the same. I'm still trying to think of a potential meal I could suggest to you that doesn't have like pasta in it, but I keep getting distracted. Cause everything I'm like, I use my slow cooker to make like a filling for chicken pot pie, but then you put bread over the top, so that's probably not helpful either. I also admit I don't know all of the diabetic restrictions either, so I might not be able to give good suggestions. Gonna do Subway, which has bread carbs, but it's okay every once in a while. Oh, nice! Well, if bread carbs are okay, one thing I could share my recipe with you. I basically make chicken pot pie filling in my crock pot. What other people think of as chicken pot pie, not what I think of as chicken pot pie. But it's basically just chicken and potatoes and carrots in the crock pot for about 4 hours on low to make sure the chicken is cooked. And then you shred the chicken, and I just do it in chicken broth, and I make a little bit of a like thickening sauce out of oat milk, but you could just add, if you don't have restrictions like me, you could do a cream of mushroom or a cream of celery soup, or you can just make a little roux with milk to thicken it up. And I always put some broccoli and some corn in there, and then I just get the crescent rolls, the like Pillsbury crescent rolls, to put over top, and that makes the like pie part of the. I don't know if any of that stuff fits in like the dietary needs, but that's basically what I do, and it's super easy and super delicious. Carbs are high in sugars since carbs break down into sugars. High fibers are best in proteins. Interesting. There will be no D&D this week, as D&D would have been last night, but there should be D&D next week. Yeah, there was sadly a 2-week break because of school-related things, but everything should be in the clear now, I believe, for next week. I usually refer to Google. I know it's a sugar thing, but I know you gotta watch blood sugar levels. If it's high, find a counter to low it. If it's low, find a counter to raise it. Yeah, I appreciate how many people have like done the legwork of putting out like dietary information, because like it's not in any way the same as diabetes, which is there's a lot of information for that, but like there's a lot to keep track of. But I have a little bit of IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, for anyone unfamiliar. And so the thing that my doctor gave me was FODMAP. So there's this particular type of, I don't remember if it's like a protein, I don't know exactly what you would call it, but basically foods that are high in FODMAP or on the FODMAP scale can irritate IBS, and foods that are low in FODMAP are gentler to your gut, essentially. And most people don't react to every high FODMAP food, so it's kind of like a trial and error thing. But it's so extensive that even the chart that like my doctor gave me only has a fraction of like what the FODMAP like what the high FODMAP foods are. So I Google name of food and FODMAP all the time, just because like I'm constantly not sure if I'm treading into dangerous territory, or after the fact, if I have a reaction to something, I often look it up to see if it's high FODMAP. So I totally get it, and also appreciate that we like live in a society in a time where we can just be like, hey Google, Tell me if it's safe for my friend to eat this, or tell me if it's safe for me to eat that, or what's a substitution that I can use for this, because I don't effing know. And somebody out there has done the legwork, and I appreciate the hell out of those people, because I didn't even know where to start when I had to start subbing dairy in my food. So and in terms of like lactose intolerance, the vegans have done all the figuring it out. So I appreciate all those vegan blogs that are like, here's how you can make this meal but vegan, and here's how you can replace this dairy thing with vegan substitutes. Wolfkeeper, hello, how's it going? I feel like we need a Megan podcast called What the FODMAP? I don't actually know that much about FODMAP, so it wouldn't be that informative, really. But there's a lot more that goes into like dietary understanding than I think we were prepared for, because the entire food pyramid has changed since I was in school, like so there's so much more information out there now. We watched the D&D movie on Victoria's Discord last week, and I was like, at what point is Ghost going to start narrating? Aw, we made copious, lovely references to both Winds of Chaos and the Disaster Bastards. That's awesome. I take it you enjoyed the movie then, Peter? I'm doing pretty two things almost came out of my mouth at the same time. I'm doing pretty okay. Not 100% today. I'm a little under the weather. And hello, how you doing? Thank you for the lurk. I'm a little under the weather, but I'm still feeling pretty decent, hence the stream. I expect by the end of the week I'll be on the couch, but is what it is. Oh, I hope you're taking care of yourself, Wolfie. Rest when you need to. Have a potato day, as I call it, if you need a potato day. Good. I'm glad to see you. I know you've been really busy, so I hope that things are going well overall. Kind of learned about being mindful like that as a kid because my aunt had an adopted child. He was high special needs, had colostomy bag, did I say that right? And also was allergic to protein, so you really had to be mindful of foods. I appreciate getting to grow up in that situation and grateful to get to learn. Yeah, totally. I had a cousin, he grew up distant, so it wasn't quite the same, but I have a cousin with type 1 diabetes, right? He was born with it. So whenever they came to visit, thank you. I appreciate you letting me know, because I always, if I'm saying something wrong, I always want to learn how to say it properly. Not like Joe and Oublietta. The whole Oublietta fiasco. I know what you're talking about, though. I've heard of that before. I've just never said it. I've never said the name of it before. But yeah, we had a cousin who was born with diabetes, and when they came to visit, we were aware that he had to measure his blood sugar, and that we had to sort of be a little bit more aware of what we were eating. And my grandmother was lactose intolerant as well, so I was familiar with dairy substitutes and avoiding dairy and that kind of stuff when I was younger as well. But I definitely think there's a lot more, like, information is a lot more readily available to me as an adult than as, like, even as a teenager, because the internet was still not necessarily in its infancy, but we definitely didn't have, like, Google definitely didn't exist at first, and also didn't have sort of the capacity and the ease with which you can find that kind of stuff now. And of course, my mother-in-law is allergic to fish as well, and you never realize how much that stuff, like, I can't feed my mother-in-law anything with Worcestershire sauce because it's got fish in it. It's got anchovy oil in it, so, you kind of learn to be like, oh yeah, I better check the label of this before I make a thing. I feel like nowadays there's a lot more products available and alternatives. That is very true. When I was wee, if I didn't eat something or like something, it was like tough shit. But no, I also feel like just in the grocery store, because I remember, I've had this conversation a few times. I remember when I was young and my grandmother was lactose intolerant, soy milk was a big deal because before soy milk started being sold more widely, her only option, hey March of the Gray Eyes, how are you? Her only option was that like lactate milk, which is like lactose free, and it's kind of gross. It's not really good. So when soy milk started being more widely available, it was a game changer for her because it was something that tasted better, and was a little more versatile that she could use as an alternative. But those were her choices back then. She had soy milk and the lactose-free milk. And when I go to the grocery store, I have oat milk, I have almond milk, I have rice milk. Like, there's a plethora of plant-based alternatives for me. And it's the same if I go to the cheese aisle. Like, I can grab the lactose-free cheese, which I appreciate because I actually prefer the lactose-free cheese. But there's also, like, dairy-free cheeses. Like, there's Dia brand dairy-free. And, like, I can find stuff that's cashew-based. I can go to the ice cream aisle. And, again, I can find something that's cashew-based. I can find something that's coconut-based. I can find something that doesn't have any form of dairy in it for me that I can eat. And that really wasn't the case for her. Like, she didn't have that many options. And I assume, I don't know because I don't eat gluten-free, but I assume the same is true for gluten-free diets. Like, the more we become aware of alternatives and the more people have a demand for alternatives, the more those things start to be available. They tend to be more expensive. Anything vegan tends to be much more expensive than the regular, which is frustrating. Like, if I want proper vegan cheese, it's like $10 for 6 slices, which is no. But it at least exists, right? So for me, I appreciate that, like, I'm not stuck with just one thing. I can try a bunch of different things and find the thing I like best. We got the Wi-Fi at the new house fixed on Tuesday when the technician fixed and set up the modem. Nice! March of the Gray Eyes, I'm so glad to hear that. How have things been? What I've discovered here is that the lactose cheese-based alternatives are all natured cheddar. Like, give me a mild cheddar. I know, right? Gotta be careful with ice cream or it just irritates me. For sure. I go for the dairy-free stuff now. There's a brand called So Delicious, which has lots of really yummy flavors, and they're all non-dairy. It's all like cashew or coconut base, and I love it. I eat like a bird as it is, and breakfast is too early. Fair. I mostly use oat milk now because I feel like it tastes the most like regular milk. But yeah, definitely. I used soy for a while, but it's just, it adds a specific like taste to everything. Whereas oat milk, you can get away with hiding the fact that it's oat milk sometimes. It has been getting better. Very, very slowly for sure, but I do appreciate every time I go to a grocery store, like, 'cause I don't go to the grocery store very often, but anytime I actually go stand in a grocery store and look at the alternative milk section, like, it's getting easier to find alternative non-dairy yogurts, and it's getting easier to find My only major gripe is I can usually get either lactose free or low fat. I can't get the low fat lactose free yet. That's not a market that they're willing to dip into, which is a little bit frustrating when you're trying to do the lactose free and healthy alternatives. But we're definitely getting there. It's definitely better than it was 20 years ago. Chapter 30. Did I spell that? I'm so paranoid I spelled it wrong. That's right. Chapter 30. You slow spell a word and suddenly you're like, did I do that right? The convention I'm going to is in 3 days, so I'm excited. Nice! What convention, March of the Grey Eyes? Is it the kind of convention where you would cosplay, and are you cosplaying? Spill the tea. Spill the tea. Give us all the tea. And thank you so much for the raid! Welcome in! How are you? Angel Faye, hello, hello. Let's get a shout out. How was your writing today? Tired? I totally understand that. My husband has been out of town for the last 2 nights, so sleep has been not the best. And need to eat. Yes, definitely. Get food. If you need to go straight into lurk mode, 100% understand. Happy to see you, but please take care of yourself. This baby growing in me makes me not want to do anything. I have heard that pregnancy is very tiring. A butt to remember. There you go, Woof. What's interesting is that the advancement of more products, people on the internet are much more open to discussion and learning about people who eat alternative things and will absolutely not call you names or make fun of you for personal choices. I definitely, again, it's one of those things where I think the more people talk about it and the more people are open about it, the easier it becomes for people to understand and broach those topics, for sure. It's not all bad, especially with baby kicks. Aww! Well, I'm glad that it sounds like it's going well. I don't want to make assumptions, but it sounds like it's going well. Definitely get some food for you and baby, though. It's a 2-day local Comic-Con in my state's capital city, so I'm definitely cosplaying. Heck yeah! March of the Grey Eyes. If you are comfortable, please share pics. We'd love to see pictures in the Discord of your cosplay. Gonna do content creation there? That sounds amazing! Now all I can think of is a butt to remember, which is not what this chapter is called. It's funny, I was messaging with Woof yesterday, and I thought I had finished my work for the day, but I forgot to name a chapter, and I was like, I'm not actually finished, I have to name this chapter. And then I said butts, like as in an expression of, oh, butts, I have to do a thing. And then about like 15 minutes later, he was like, you named the chapter Butts. I didn't, by the way. I did not name the chapter Butts, but I did laugh when I read that. Man, all that taco potato salad earlier is making me hungry. Trying to think if I can name one of my chapters Butts, but I don't think it works. Hey, you know, if you're keeping an eye out for the opportunity, it will eventually arise. I think that's how it works. Every time you come back, I've actually done 4 letters this time, Conquest. Heck yeah. This one's short and sweet. So. Remember when I was writing a new scene for the Arvalia Chronicles, and I was looking up names for places, and it gave me Lower West Galeamp. I didn't initially use that name, but I've decided to rewrite that part of the chapter and use that name because it's too good. Because I want to name the chapter Lower West Galeamp. So that's gonna happen. I've already made a note for when I go back to edit that scene, that has to be a thing which occurs. We should get hashtag Megan for butts trending on Twitter. I mean, good luck. I don't know that there are enough of us to do that. But if you can get it happening, go for it. I'll be cosplaying again as William Afton / Dave Miller, but we're doing those quality of life changes to make the cosplay improve better this time. Nice! That sounds awesome. I've never gotten to actually cosplay, and I love the idea of doing it. But I don't have the skill to make the outfits. And the baby doing 360s washing machine spin cycles? Oh my goodness. That sounds interesting? Neither do I. But did you make your costumes, March with the Gray Eyes? I do think cosplaying is one of those things where, like, you kind of throw yourself into it and figure it out as you go. I've definitely, from what I've heard from people who cosplay, is that's just kind of how you do it. What chapter is this? 31. The good news is we only have 3 more of these. The bad news is we have 3 more of these. Come on, have I not used that word before? I'm not so good at varying my chapter titles. Need another the. I know I can get a the for sure. Oops. Yes, so my cover artist has created a cover. I don't know if I even showed the cover for this book. Wait, what? Hang on. Oh. Okay. Mother-in-law just sent me an email. But I will show you guys this. So my cover artist has created this beautiful, I should actually just download it because I have to do that anyway, and then I won't have to flash my email on the screen. But my cover artist has created this lovely cover, and she has used this thing, which isn't exactly a font, but she uses Illustrator, so it's easier for her to create the cover. And I use that same thing to create the chapter labels, essentially, yes, so that it matches. So let me show you guys. I'm actually like right here. You can kind of see all the small ones, but this is the cover for, I don't think I've shown this to anybody yet, actually, aside from my in-laws, who I was at their house at the time that I received it. But this is the cover for Careless Electronica, which is coming out next month. And you can see this is the same font here. So this is the same font that I used to create all of my chapter labels. Does it have a sax solo? You might have to read it to find out. This is Reinik, my lovely boy here. This is another character who you have to read the book to find out who that is. If you've read the series so far, you know exactly who that is. So I don't make these. My cover artist, Molly Phipps, who is fucking amazing, makes these. But yes, I believe she does use stock photo sites. I know that she uses Adobe stock site, and I know that she has subscriptions to several others. She has told me that she's had a hard time making sure that she's not using AI generated art because no one really, we're waiting basically for the lawsuit to make a ruling on that. We don't want to get sued. And we don't want to accidentally steal art, because we both appreciate the work that artists put into their art. But she does use stock photos, and then she like paints over them, and she's amazing. Like, all of her covers are amazing. For me, when I need stock photos, I either use Deposit Photos, which I have several credits for, or Pixabay, which is free, royalty-free stock photos. So hopefully that answers the question. I bought my costumes. That's what I would have to do. My fave cosplay was when I dressed up as Chi from Chobits. Nice. This is where we need an emergency call to Flutter. Yeah, Flutter is like the top person I know who has done cosplay. R.A. Morley, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome in. How are you? This cosplay is what cosplayers categorize as closet cosplay, where you take store-bought clothes that the character wears and wear it as part of your cosplay. Oh, that makes sense. Unless you're doing some heavy modifications to the outfit, there's no need to make it yourself. This means that my next cosplay will be from scratch. Nice! Most store-bought cosplays are not eligible or allowed to win prizes in contests at conventions. Interesting. Mine probably won't win anything, but I can still enter and participate. And you can still take pictures with people and show off your art. Like, because cosplay is a form of art. Yeah, AI art is like a whole discussion. I keep muting and missing when raids into new channels. I do that too. Yes! Fellow science fiction fantasy writer. Absolutely. High five. This is my space opera because space operas need more love. If you can't find stock footage, we have a huge library. Just DM us. That's amazing. That's an amazing offer, Conquest. Thank you so much. I know someone who does stock photos to do similar things. Yes. Stock photos are a lifesaver for indie authors and book covers, 100%. I don't have nearly the skill that Molly does when it comes to putting this stuff together. I basically just send her character descriptions, and like I sent her a description of the city in the background, and she sends me mock-ups, and then she made this, and it's amazing, and I love it, and it's the cover for the next book. So what happens at Disney is actually called Disney bonding. It's slightly different from closet cosplay because you cannot actually dress up as a Disney character in Disney parks unless you're a child. So Disney bonding is when people will dress up in the color scheme of a Disney character that they would want to cosplay. So you're not actually dressing as the character or wearing a costume because you have to wear regular clothes, but you are coordinating your wardrobe to the color scheme of a specific character to evoke the idea of that character. It's very, very specific to Disney. I do actually know this because I know several people who have done Disney bonding, but it's very, very similar. And you're exactly right. It's because you aren't allowed to dress up as a character unless you're a child. You have to be under the age limit to wear a costume. If you are itty bitty, you can wear a princess outfit, but otherwise you can't. I have my artist and would trade her, and have my artist wouldn't trade her for the world because I'll scribble some obscure idea and she's on it. Exactly. Also a fellow streamer, so keep it in the house. Oh, nice. That's awesome. I don't think Molly streams. She's in England, so she would be way off my time zone even if she did, but she is absolutely amazing. She runs, anyone who's interested in looking her up, she runs We Got You Covered book designs. You can Google, it's amazing. All of my covers are in her profile on her site, so I remember when we learned how to do this stuff in my advanced art classes, we were learning how to do movie posters. I didn't get to learn how to do movie posters in art class, although that's an advanced art class, so I guess that's why I didn't take advanced art. I did one for a horror movie, but it was like a joke with a friend. Ooh. Like physically, like you have to be like 10. There's like an age limit cutoff for dressing up at a Disney park. I was haunted by ice cream trucks, almost like they were stalking me because you would hear one during the oddest times. There were areas they never went, then suddenly did, so as a little thing I made a whole horror movie idea about it. That sounds amazing! I love that idea, Flareon. I'm gonna get back to the chapter labels or we're never gonna get done, but... but there was a peek at the new cover. For anyone who wants to know more about the Celestial Serenade, check out the link there. It does say there are 7 books. Yeah, that's right. Book 8 is coming out next month. I'll have to update that. I took a video editing class in uni and made a trailer for the old Interview with the Vampire movie and either didn't get to keep it or lost it. Oh no! That sounds amazing! She'll paint it from scratch. I'm always prepared to bite the bullet on the cost. She's always far more reasonable than what I expect. That's amazing. Because I do know that illustration from scratch can be very expensive. Reasonably so, because it's a lot of work. I'm just trying to make sure I didn't miss anything as I scroll up here. Because chat is moving quite quickly. I saw a short video somewhere where a female asked the Gaston performer at Disneyland Disney World to go out on a date with her, and Gaston just straight up rejected her? Like, was he in character? It was called Ice Cream Murder? That's amazing, Delta Flareon. An ice cream man who went around committing murders. I mean, they do have refrigerated trucks. I keep losing my place on these labels. I have so much respect for artists that like can create an image from scratch because I can't do that, but have tried to do that. I know how much effort goes into, first of all, learning how to art. Because if you ever watch an artist and they're like, damn, it looks like they can do that in like 10 minutes, That's because they've spent like 15 years learning how to do that in 10 minutes. So first of all, it takes so much time to learn how to art. And it takes so much like knowledge and effort and practice. And so, yeah, in conclusion, support artists. And I know we have some of them. I know we have some in chat. I know we've got Delta Flareon. I know we've got Conquest. And I don't think Mumbles is lurking right now, but Mumbles did all of my emotes and all of the nice, cute art that you see in the pop-ups when I do my BRBs and stuff. So we definitely have some amazing streamer friends hanging out who are artists, and y'all are amazing and great, and I love you. I can show you the images I used and results if you're okay with that for later. Image contains blood-covered things. I'm 100% okay with that. Feel free to message me on Discord. I would love to see your process. I think it's awesome to see what an artist like takes and does with different things. Totally in character. That was what was so funny about it. That's amazing. The people who do the characters at Disney are amazing. I mean, they go through like mad tryouts to get the parts, but they're amazing. They never break character. I feel like I may have watched someone play a video game about a murderous ice cream truck man. Welcome back, R.A. Morley. Sorry to hear your internet blipped. We're just gushing about the amazingness of artists. Wait till you see what we did with Foodle. Are you doing more Foodle sketches, Conquest? I really love everything that you've posted, honestly, in the Discord. In the UK, ice cream vans mostly just carry cocaine and food viruses. That doesn't sound the best. I saw a video with a kid who was approached by, I forget if it was Darth Vader or Kylo Ren, but this last was like, fuck it, dark side for me. I saw that too. They actually did a follow-up with her a few years later, and she was really into, there was like a dark Jedi who was one of the, my Star Wars knowledge is failing me, one of the people with, like Ashoka, is that her name? Ahsoka? One of the same race, the people with like the, it's not the head tentacles. I'm sorry, I'm losing my geek cred right now. All of my Star Wars knowledge just evaporated. But there's like a dark Jedi who is the same, similar to Ashoka. Is it, or she might have been a Twi'lek. Is it Twi'leks? Is that what they're called? Anyway, she was a really huge fan of that particular character. I think there's actually two different races. There's the Twi'leks, and then there's something similar, but I don't remember 100% for sure. Hang on, let me switch songs because that has lyrics. I self-taught myself what I know, played around with tools till I figured it out like a game. That's amazing. I mean, I self-taught myself writing too, and I know how much effort went into that, so I know that like doing art is the same. It takes so much time and so much practice, and you have to do it wrong so many times before you do it right. Inks soon, then colors. And a group pick, just need to talk to Ghost Pepper. That's awesome! Are you planning on creating a character for Ghost Pepper? I need to get some Ephema art at some point. Gotta get some Wood Witch going on. Yeah, I know Ashoka is into Twi'lek, but I don't remember what her race is. Oh my god, Megan, you can't just say people have head tentacles. I know, but that's what I think of them as. Yeah, I will admit, one of the things that I'm not good at when it comes to the, Star Trek lore, or the Star Wars lore, not the Star Trek lore, the Star Wars lore, is, I don't always remember the race names, because they don't use them very often. So I know what they look like, but I don't remember what they're called. It took me forever to think of Twi'lek, and that's like one of the few ones that I know. But I know Ashoka isn't one of those, but I can't think of, I always get them mixed up and I can't think of the name of her actual, race. But there was, I think the Dark Jedi that particular girl was interested in was a Twi'lek. My brain just instantly went to Ashoka because because it's a character that I have seen recently and thought about recently. Ashoka? So I do think she has, so hang on. Easy way to do this. Okay, so Targruta is apparently what they are. Google to the rescue. Yeah, so they do, this is the race that she is, that Ashoka is. They do have things. They have these little, I guess they're called head tails instead of tentacles. Apparently they have multiple stomachs. They have 2 large cone-like horns called montrails atop their skulls, and 3 leku, also known as head tails, that spout downward. So this is what Ashoka is. And then, yeah, and then if we look up Twi'lek, they have the actual, so the females have the 2, like, head tails, I guess they're called. And then I think the males have it too, but you can see that they look slightly different. I know about the Twi'leks because I played one in the Star Wars RPG, so I know they have a whole, like, language with their head tails. But yeah, so those are the 2 different races, and I get them mixed up. Now you know. I need to fix this, actually, because I think that's a little too low. Totally forgot what I was doing for a second. But yeah, they did a follow-up with that girl, and she was like, I would totally join the dark side, because my favorite character is a dark side character. And I was like, mad respect for for embracing who you are and not having any shame. I mean, obviously, if the dark side was a real thing, I would feel differently about that, but having a favorite character who's a villain is totally fine. She's like all grown up now. Because that follow-up was several years ago, so she would be like a full-grown adult now. You've redeemed yourself to the octopus community. Thank you. I'm gonna finish up this label and take a quick break, because my Fitbit is about to yell at me to get up and move, and then we will do the last 2 labels, and then I will eat some lunch, because I have some yummy leftovers in the fridge. I wasn't able to get my pad thai on Monday because that place was closed, but I did order from a different place and get a really yummy yellow curry, which is absolutely delicious, and I hadn't had it for a while. And I have some left in the fridge, and I'm really excited to eat it, so. Oops, I closed my folder that I need. Good job, me. Perfect. So I just have 2 more of these. I need to lurk for a while. Have a big time headache? No, Peter, I hope you feel better soon. Please rest. I'll mostly still be here, and being handsome, we appreciate you. Please take care of yourself. I know that headaches are not fun, and every time the pressure shifts here, I get one, so I totally get it. We're gonna go for probably about another 15-20 minutes until we're done with these labels, and then I'm gonna head off. Thank you guys, seriously, for hanging out, for having these conversations with me. It makes this a lot more enjoyable, this particular task, because if you can't tell, it's not my favorite. So I'm gonna be right back. I'm just gonna get up and move around a little bit, refresh my coffee, and use the restroom. Please also do the same things. Get up, stretch, grab something to drink. If you need to take your medication, take it. I took mine this morning, as evidenced by my pillowcase being open. So do that. Take care of yourself, because you are important. Neo, hello. How are you? I will be right back in a moment to hear more about it. I can't remember how to write 1, 1050, 1, 6, and 500 in Roman numerals. I'm livid. Oh my god, Neo. Be right back. Wrong one. I'm properly back this time. I'm doing laundry, so reminder for all my work friends. Indeed, laundry is important. Every Sunday is laundry day here. Neo, how you doing? Thank you for the Roman numerals joke. Don't have laundry, but I did forget to run the dishwasher last night, so I'll be doing that after I cook dinner. Yes, I have to run the dishwasher soon too. I may have strategically not run it while Ghost was out of town because he's usually the one that empties it, and I maybe possibly didn't want to empty it myself, possibly. Can neither confirm nor deny. Let's see. Let's see what the last few words are here. I've got to really quickly do at least 4 letters before Conquest gets back. Smeagol is ready to make noodles. Enjoy those noodles. Enjoy the heck out of them. Chapter 4, Mean Girls. I knew someone, as soon as I did mean, I was like, someone's gonna think this is a Mean Girls reference. Take care, Exiled Fae. I probably won't be back until next week, but I will be hanging out on the Discord. Appreciate you hanging out, and I hope you take care. I will probably be lurking somewhere on the Twitches, in people's chats and stuff, but I definitely won't be streaming again until next week, so... Always appreciate your company and your advice, and I hope you enjoy the heck out of those noodles. I've got to remember what I'm actually trying to write instead of going on autopilot and writing Mean Girls, which could happen. Given the state of my brain, I wouldn't be surprised. Give them Nell! Thank you so much! 8 months! I can hardly believe it. 8 months of writing, baby! How are you? How are you, my friend? You're just finishing up the last of these chapter labels. The ends are hard because they're so spiky. Finished editing a chapter. That is awesome. Edits are always the hardest part for me, so I celebrate every single milestone when I am editing. Absolutely. So did you write the whole draft and then go back and edit it, or are you editing as you go? Just out of curiosity. 7 letters, Conquest. I'm doing it. I said when we started this one, I gotta hurry up and get some of those letters in before Conquest gets back. Conquest will think I'm slacking. Editing as I go to help me while I figure out where to go while fighting writing block. No worries, whatever gets you through. I hope those edits are shaking the rest of those words loose. 10 letters an hour to set a new world speed record. Gotta go slow. Gotta go as slow as possible. Now I gotta check and make sure I spelled it right because I spelled it so slow. And I've held this word in my head for so long it's meaningless now. I keep forgetting to mention, I mentioned it at the beginning of stream, but I know we have some new people who weren't here at the beginning of stream and maybe haven't heard the spiel. Today, my book, not Eternity's Empire, that's the name of the series, the first book in the Eternity's Empire series, The Light of Eternity, is on sale for 99 cents in the US. It is featured as a BookBub feature deal today, which is amazing. So, last month I ran this deal internationally, so unfortunately my US friends weren't able to pick it up. But today, if we hit the Eternity command, you can pop over to Amazon if you're interested and check that out. That is my mythological mashup. It's very Sailor Moon-y, sort of magical girls in space opera fantasy series. Which is about 5 goddesses and all the really awesome, cool antics that they get up to. So the first 2 books in that series, The Light of Eternity and The Soul of the Earth, are on sale for 99 cents today in the US. Go grab those. They will be on sale until Sunday, I believe. It's 5 days, including today. And yeah, you can basically read the first 2 books in the series for $2. They are on Kindle Unlimited if you are subscribed there, and the series is finished, so you can read the whole thing, no waiting, if you are into that sort of thing. You didn't spell it right. It's meaning fooey. You almost had me, Conquest. I actually was like, wait a minute. Enjoy your lurk. Give them Nell. So yeah, just wanted to remind everyone that that sale is happening. I haven't had a chance to look at my stats in a bit, but hopefully it's going well. Dang, I'm up to number 7 in a category. That's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. That's the L. Yeah, that's the L has a little, I thought you were just razzing me. I thought you were just trying to convince me I spelled it wrong. No, the I is lowercase. That's how you can tell the difference. Hey, baby Squid Queen of Hell, how's it going? It is a weird font. It's a very sci-fi feeling font though when it's plugged into the book. And this brings us down to the last one. Heck yeah. Ooh. Ugh, my mouse is doing this whole... And I have to get that fixed. I'm just gonna have to buy a new mouse, and I'm just gonna be salty about it. Last one. Very sleepy. Good morning to you. I hope you slept well. Although very sleepy could either mean just woke up or didn't get enough sleep. I hope it's the former and not the latter. I guess sleepy could mean many other things too. I shouldn't assume. Keep clicking on the wrong thing. Didn't sleep great. Oh no, I'm so sorry to hear that. I had a rough week, so sleep has been evading me. I'm so sorry to hear that. I do know that feeling. I have been an insomniac pretty much my whole life. I know what it's like to go on the bare minimum of sleep and feel like you're running on fumes, and I would not wish that on anyone. So I definitely hope that things settle down a bit and that you're able to get some good rest. And I hope that whatever's causing you to have a rough week, I hope it leaves you alone. You can feel free to chat about it a little if you want, or you don't have to. No worries, no pressure. But we're sending good thoughts your way, all of us, in hopes that things settle down and that you can get some good sleep, because it's so important. I know I'm one of those people where I lay down to sleep at night, and instead of relaxing the way your brain is supposed to, my brain just takes off and just I start thinking of all the things, and I'm like, this is happening now. Whoops, what am I doing? Gammon? What the heck, Woof? I was wondering if you were gonna pop up to sass me one last time before we got this done. My biggest stress was my grandfather Papa being in hospital, but he is home now and Mama is staying with him and Nan for a little while. Well, I'm glad he's home. Absolutely. Glad to hear that. My family is very close and I work with Mama, so her being gone stresses me out. Totally understandable. I'm like that too. Anything that sort of upsets the regular flow of things really gets under my skin, even if I try not to let it. So, but hopefully, now that he's home from the hospital, hopefully things will settle again, go a bit more back to normal. You know, Woof, I don't mind the sass. I was just wondering. I was like, are we gonna get away with only one Woof sass today? Is that gonna happen? But you're here, you're doing it, and of course we love you for it. Last word of the last label for this book. Oh my god, you guys. And I'm planning to write 3 more books in this series, which means someday in the future, I'm gonna have to do this again. Someday when I've forgotten how painful this all was, I'm gonna have to reopen this file and do this all again. And, yep. She should be back Monday or Tuesday, and Papa seems to be doing better, at least for now. That is the most important thing, is that Papa is doing better. But yeah, hopefully a little bit of relaxation of the stress will help with managing the rest of it. I know if there's a lot going on at any given time, I have trouble, for me personally, I have trouble managing large amounts of stress. If I can break it down, so maybe break out the calendar for this title. If I can break it down into like more manageable pieces, it's much easier for me to deal with like 1 or 2 things than to be dealing with 3 or 4. So hopefully if a couple of things go back to normal and start to relax on the stress, then the other things will follow. Not to assume that everyone is the same as me, but hopefully the worst of it is past, is basically what I'm saying in my long-winded and rambling way. Glad I'm not alone in that. No, absolutely. This is 100% a place where people can seek support. I don't ever want anyone to feel like they have to like feel pressured to say what's bothering them. But if you want to share, absolutely, 100%. And I'm the kind of person who always, I can manage like my high stress and my emotions better if I talk to people about them. So I 100% understand that too. Woof, how you doing, by the way? You talk so much. So much, Woof. But I don't even know how you're doing. Not too bad getting my afternoon work on. Nice. Is today a work from home day? That was, my voice did a weird thing there. I assume today is a work from home day, but I try not to make too many assumptions. We did it! It's done. The last label. Whoops. Oh, my mouse is driving me nuts. Again? Come on. We did it. The last label. I'm gonna save it before something goes horribly wrong. Probably there are a million better ways to do this than the way I do it, but it's done. The chapter labels are done. We have chapter labels for a book. I am just gonna blow my nose here quick. Apologize for covering the camera. For the after, so you went into the office for the morning and worked from home in the afternoon. Hey, it's still nice to get home early, right? Helps me talk it out, drives my girlfriend crazy because she's a solution and a fixer. Oh my gosh, so one of the most revolutionary things that happened for my marriage was explaining to Ghost Pepper that I don't necessarily want him to fix my problems, because he used to be like that too. I tend to be a very emotional person and a very expressive person. And early in our marriage, I think he always felt like I was talking about the things that bothered me because I was hoping that he could do something about them. And he just got to the point where he's like, there's always so much and I don't know what to do. And I was like, honey, I don't want you to do anything. I just want you to listen to me. I just wanted to be able to vent and get it all out of me, because if I'm bottling it all up in me, then I feel worse. But if I let it all out, then it's like, okay, I let it out. Now I don't have to hold it anymore. I don't have to like carry it anymore. So it's like, I just want you to listen. And he was like, oh, okay. He's been much easier on him and on me since then, because I know I can just like, and he knows the same thing too. Like, he can come home from work and he can vent about anything that may have happened that day. And I'm just going to be like, yeah, you know, that sounds garbo. And know that like nothing has to be done about it. It's just about airing it all out and getting it all gone, and then you have it off your chest and you feel better. The Discord spoiler feature has been great for us long distance. Oh, that makes sense. I never thought of using it that way, but that is pretty cool. A bishop design. Am I saying that right? Thank you so much for the raid. Oh my gosh, welcome in. I'm sorry if I said your name wrong. I say a lot of things wrong. Let me get you a shout out. Let me check, because I think I just accidentally turned on my caps lock and I do not want to spend the rest of the stream yelling in all caps. Hello, how are you? What were you working on today? I see that you were doing some art. We just finished making chapter labels for my latest book that's coming out in June called Careless Electronica. It's going to be book 8 in my Celestial Serenade space opera. I'm super excited about it. And I think we did 8 of these today, 9 of these today. I did a previous session where we also worked on the same thing. Letter by letter, they come together. If it's under spoiler, it's something that we just need to get out, but if we don't, that means we want help. That's such a good idea! That is such a good idea. I never thought of that. It's been 84 books. It feels like it's been 84 books. Doing some graphic design work for a coffee roaster and a cafe. That sounds awesome! Yes, I so appreciate you dropping in. It's so nice to meet you. I don't know, I know some people are in like a million Discords, but this is, Discords, lol, Discord. If you drop into our Discord, the Discord I share with my husband, and want to share any of your pictures or any of your like progress, no pressure, but if you want to share, there is an art section. We'd love to see it. I certainly love seeing what people design for anything really, but for businesses and stuff, it's so cool. I do not have much graphic design, despite what you see on the screen, which may be misleading. I don't know. I don't actually have much graphic design knowledge myself. I actually, the font and everything that was chosen for these chapter labels was a choice made by my cover artist, who is way, way more, like, savvy than me. I just kind of pick up from her what she's doing and carry it on. But yeah, if you ever want to share any pictures, feel free to toss them in there. We'd love to see them. And it can be current or past projects. I don't know if you are not necessarily, depending on who you're working for, you might not be able to share the most current ones, but I'd love to see anything that you've made. We have some very, very amazingly talented people in the community, and I love every time someone shares something. So yes, very nice to meet you. I hope stream went well. We will unfortunately be wrapping up here in a few minutes because I gotta get some food. We have spent a lot of stream talking about potato salad and I am very hungry. But it's so nice to meet you, and we will certainly spread the love around to another artist when we're finished here. If you think things look good, then stuff probably will look alright. That makes sense. Doing the same thing. Eating potato salad? I assume you mean eating lunch, but if you're eating potato salad, heck yeah, potato salad is the best thing in the world. I will sing the praises of potato salad far and wide till my end of days, because it is my favorite thing. It's maybe a weird food to have become like my favorite food, but potato salad has just become like my comfort food these days, because it's good in the winter and it's good in the summer. It's just good. And there's so many different ways to make it, and they're all delicious. A random statement, but I've never met a potato salad that I didn't like. What the hell? My keyboard tray startled me. Oops, I'm hitting all the wrong buttons. Let's do a stretch, and then let's see who is hanging out on the Twitches that we can go spread some more love to. And I usually try to, so when we're doing writing streams, I mostly do writing streams for anyone who is new to hanging out, and I should have done this deal earlier. I mostly do writing streams. I'm a science fiction and fantasy writer. My books are available on Amazon. If you're interested in checking them out, you can do the !books command. All the commands are up there. The !books will take you to just my general book page. Or you can head over to megancutler.net and read some samples of my novels for free. So I like to raid within the category, so when I'm doing writing streams, I try to rate other writers, but when I'm doing stuff like this, book cover stuff or chapter labels, I do try to spread some love to other artists in the community, because there are so many awesome artists in this community, and I know I only follow a small fraction of them. Also, a hydrate for Nell. Thank you, thank you. So let's see who's hanging out and making lovely things that we can say hey to today. Are any of my art streamer friends doing arts? I don't see any of my usual peeps. Let's actually just click on the category then and see who, unless someone has a recommendation, obviously from the chat, let's just see who's hanging out. This is new territory for me. I've not really waded too much into the art area of Twitch. This is such a colorful page, the art, who's streaming art on Twitch page. And get past the Twitch ads and see. Let's see. You might hear random noises.
On my iPad, I can't show you right now. But if you guys remember my cloud and the earth piece,
This looks like a nice place. Alright, new to me person. Always get nervous about doing this, but let's give it a try. New to me person who is streaming some art. So let's head over and give some love. Just a reminder that there's some really awesome artists in our community known to me. I unfortunately don't see any of them streaming right now, but please check out also Delta Flareon. Let's give Flareon a shout out. And also, let me make sure I spell her name right. And also, it's Mumbles, who did all of the lovely art that you see on this channel. Pretty much anything that's on my splash screens and emotes and whatnot was done by It's Mumbles. Both super awesome, super chill. Please check them out, and we are gonna head over and meet somebody new and say hey. If you have my emotes, please feel free to use them. It's a nice grungy font. Yeah, it's like a super, it looks like super sci-fi, like, console type font. I didn't pick it. I can't take credit, but I do really like it. So thank you. If you have my emotes, please feel free to use them for the raid. If not, use any emotes because it's all about spreading the love. Detroit Become Human, I assume is maybe the one that you're thinking of. That, I can definitely see that. Yes, Detroit Become Human. I unfortunately don't know when I will be back because health stuff, as we talked about earlier. But I will be back at some point next week, probably Wednesday. We might do Wednesday, Thursday, Friday streams next week. We're going to be doing more editing. We're going to have some more shorts. We might go back to doing some more Kryptonia development next week. So I'm looking forward to all that. In the meantime, please take care of yourselves. I'm sorry to run, but I do need to get some food. Thank you so much for spending this time with me, for making this task so much more bearable. And I will see you all on the flip side. Have a fantastic weekend and take care of yourselves, and I hope that the creativity flows for all of you.